Whether it's weirdly designed magical apples, the most complex thing you've ever heard of in your life, or literally just reskinning Marvel superheroes and calling them quirks, a power system can be the make or break thing in watching an anime series. I mean, it can be the thing that keeps you watching a series again and again, even through the slog of that one really annoying perverted character who's getting completely too much screen time, or the thing that gets you to stop a series before you get to that sweet, sweet tournament arc you've been waiting for. Now, I understand that a good power system is crucial to watching and enjoying an action and adventure anime, but what I started thinking about is why. Why do some power systems work and add to the world that the author has built, while others really fall flat and completely pull you out of your enjoyment in watching a series? What is the difference? Now, as a disclaimer, I could go on and on about every anime and their different power system, what makes them good or bad, successful, not successful, but that's going to take a million hours, and honestly, I just wouldn't do that well. Most importantly, though, hundreds of other people have already done it. So at the end of this video, I will link to some other content creators that touch on the power systems I mention in this video. And if you're interested in something like that, I would really recommend checking them out. Great videos, great creators. All right. So what makes power systems compelling? When you boil it down to that question, I think the answer is pretty simple. It's that power systems need to be believable. By believable, I don't mean that you need to watch it and say, oh, that could happen in our world, but that within the world that they're watching, how the power systems operate, what they do, and what they do within that system, what that's created, that it all makes sense, that it all follows a logic that we as the viewers understand and that the author adheres to that logic. To me, there's nothing worse than feeling like a power system is unbelievable. The second that I start feeling like something is unbelievable is the moment I start scrolling through my phone or just flip over and watch Hunter x Hunter again, like the man of culture that I am. Go watch Hunter x Hunter. And in thinking about it, I tried to make that concept of believability really easy to understand as well. To me, it all broke down to what I'm going to call the 3 C's: consistency, clarity, and competition. Were those up there? Can we get them up there? Jesus, it's like, what are we paying this guy for? So first, consistency. The foundation of all good power systems is consistency, and this is the barrier for entry for what is widely known as the "is this power system good" list. You know, the list they created at Harvard. I mean, not gonna lie, this one's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. Power systems have to have a consistent set of rules that define how they can operate. We need to know how characters can tap into the system, what it allows them to do, and most importantly, what its limitations are. I mean, if it wasn't explained within the power system of One Piece, it might really fuck up your immersion if you were like watching a sea battle between the Straw Hats and the Big Mom Pirates, and then one guy from the Big Mom Pirates starts rubbing his little tummy, and then out pops a stand from JoJo's. It would really, really be hard to follow that if it wasn't previously explained by Oda. I mean, in some anime, some very, very famous anime that I promise I haven't mentioned already yet, have played really fast and loose with that rule of consistency. And, you know, that can be introducing new power systems halfway through the series that completely retcon the beginning of the show, or having such a diverse set of possibilities in your character's power system that it's like a blanket. Well, of course this exists because there's a devil fruit that does that. You know, like, Oda, you greedy son of a bitch, you really went out there and said, I don't like one, I want them all. I want my power system to be everything. You are the Roman Empire. Beg, borrow, steal, and get your way to the top. I'm still watching. I'm not saying stop. I'm just saying crazy. Dude, you're crazy. And, you know, to Oda's credit, you can really only break those rules of consistency when a new character or a new power that they're introducing redefines the entire system, or they're such an outlier that they just don't apply. Like, when we start learning about hockey, it changes the entire power system. It is a retcon. I'm not going to get into it. That's a whole other video. But that inconsistency is the number one thing that fans start complaining about. I mean, go on the subreddit, go on our pirate folk, and just like give yourself 5 minutes. You're going to see hundreds of complaints about that, about one of the most popular power systems in the world. I think that they didn't even do that bad of a job. Honestly, I mean, inconsistent power systems feel incredibly lazy, like creators don't know or care about the universe they created, and it sucks when you have that feeling like you care more about this series than the author does. But, you know, the thing with hockey is that I'm going to get into it later. I just need to just stay focused, Noah. You want to make one video during the holiday break. Just stay focused. What's up, dude? Great. We understand consistency. Now let's move on to clarity. This is the second barrier for entry on Harvard's Is This Power System Good list. Fun fact, that list was created by James P. Harvard of the Harvard bloodline. He always said clarity is very important to an anime power system because as viewers, we need to understand what is happening and why. A very smart, wise man. I really endorse the Ivy Leagues. What it is that the show needs to explain to the viewer some understanding of the rules of operation in this world's power system. You know, how characters access it, what its limitations are. That's a big one. I mentioned it before, but what its limitations are is a very big piece of it. I mean, if we aren't handheld into understanding, at least at a base level, how the power system works, and a power system that exists within a world is probably pretty well known, the show can quickly start feeling very inaccessible to the viewer. Not to say that it has to all be explained day one, but if we're not going to get there, and if they're not going to at least start giving us some understanding of what it happens a season in or something, you're going to feel like, I don't know what's going on. I don't feel like I'm a part of this world. And that's a big thing. I mean, look, there's a reason why the most successful shonen protagonist model is the young, weak, naive kid who has heaps of potential and has to go to a seasoned veteran to learn the ropes. I mean, sitting in that protagonist seat and learning about the power system in that way, and then going off and really going from, you know, square one to circle 10 that's how immersion is built. A lack of clarity around any of these elements leaves the power system feeling cheap and lazy, and like the premise either isn't well thought out or that the author is intentionally leaving ambiguity so they can bend the rules to their will later on. Even in One Piece, formerly known as God's messiest power system, Oda shows the viewers visualizations of how hockey is used and when it's used, even things that people can't see in universe, so that we as the viewers can distinguish when someone is and isn't using Conqueror's Haki. I mean, don't get me started on the pre-time skip, how that applies, the retconning bit that I mentioned earlier, but I will say that since they formally introduced hockey, they've done a good job at saying this is when it is used and this is when it isn't used. Even if there's like the Dragon Ball Z Aura thing going on. I don't want to talk about it. Stop the presses. And there are shows like Demon Slayer where the stylistic depictions of the power system are explicitly said to never be seen in verse. And what they're doing is really signaling to us, the viewer, the difference between Tanjiro using a breathing form and just like cutting wood. The way that they choose to do that is absolutely encapsulating. It's so gorgeous. If you haven't watched Demon Slayer, vibes alone, art alone, go watch it. It's so good. It's such an easy watch. Not hyper complex, but just good old fashioned fun and beautiful art. Without clarity around how the power system functions, like when it's being used and how, the system of power is meaningless. I mean, whether it's an isekai anime where you got the little screens popping up and they say, you're a level 1 refrigerator, but you can only stock RC Cola. You got to get to level 5 to get Coca-Cola and Pepsi Clear. Or it's the most insane, complex power system literally ever conceived. If there isn't clarity around what's going on, the viewer's interest is going to stop. I mean, Hunter x Hunter is not clear. Like, it's a super complex system. Your first time viewing it, And your 10th time viewing it, you're going to be like, what the fuck is happening? But when you go actually plot it out, there is consistency and you can understand the clarity of how things function. They really put so much work into articulating and visualizing that it just makes it hold up even more. If I ever have to stop watching and I go, what the hell happened, just because there's no clarity around how a power system is functioning, and it's not just because my stupid brain can't understand the 25 dimensions that Togashi is peering into when he's understanding how Nen works, then that's something that is going to completely disconnect me from my viewing experience. Like, how did Harry Potter's mom die and then turn him into a Horcrux? I don't get it. It doesn't fit in with your power system, J.K. Rowling. That's the number one complaint that I have about who you are as a person. So we did it. We talked about clarity. We also talked about consistency, but more recently we talked about clarity. You were there. So that brings us to our third tier, our third power system, bang, bang, boom, tier list part of it, competition. Now, this is where Jimmy Harvard, he gets a lot of flack in the academic community because this is where he says this is no longer on the is this power system good list. No, he created a new list, which is this power system great? And the is this power system great list, it's a rarefied place to be in. Competition, again, quoting Jimmy Harvard, competition is what differentiates between okay power systems and power systems that are so good that you will stay hooked to them even in the midst of a 10-year hiatus. Competition can mean so many different things in a shonen anime, and I'm not going to go into all those different definitions. I'm trying to eat later today, so I'm going to stay a little focused. Basically, what I'm talking about is how power systems operate within their world to create a sense of balance between the characters. And this is where we're going to get into anime's most venerated cesspool, and let's get it out of the way now. Yep, I'm talking power scaling piss contests. I'm talking how many Gojos would it take to defeat Goku. I'm talking Naruto solos the whole One Piece verse, bro. I'm talking kill, fuck, marry, Kaido's 3 forms. Little note between me, you, and Jimmy Harvard, it's actually kill, fuck, marry. People don't know that. Bring it up at your family holidays. Everyone will be impressed with your knowledge. But I gotta say, to all the power scaling freaks out there, eat your friggin' heart out, man. I mean, I don't get why people care so much about, which character could punch another character the hardest in the dick, but y'all care so much. You're so passionate. I wish that I could care as much about anything the way people do about Goku. But that passion is really just a testament to extremely well-written power systems. I mean, these are power systems that have consistent sets of rules with clarity around how they operate that breed competition within their own universe. And it's only natural for us to then extend that to say who's the most powerful within the universe and how do these universes interact with each other. Even within a single anime world, we can have heated debates about which characters are the strongest. It's not always clear cut. The worlds often have measurable ways of distinguishing power levels within these systems, whether it's just titles like the Magic Squad Captains in Black Clover, or there's a numerical set put to it like Knuckles APR in Hunter x Hunter, or even just like an amount of reverence that's given to a character, especially before them showing on screen, like Sukuna in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, he's about to be a baddie. You don't really get to see it, and Gojo's kind of the dude, but Sukuna is about to be a baddie before you see his full power. Or, you could just be like One Piece and just do all of these things, have every single measuring contest. Oda, again, this guy is undefeated at just doing it all, throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks. Oh, God, Oda. Competition, the understanding of how a power system works, and then the spectacle of watching it play out as different characters interact with each other, is the most fun part of power systems. Full stop. That is the most fun part, at least for me. That's what I really love. Creating rules and then the scale for those rules is such an incredible way that authors can show how complex the entire world that they've built is. and, show that the characters we really love are just a single part of a much larger, more in-depth, and often more terrifying world than we could ever imagine. Like, I mentioned APR from Hunter x Hunter, and that's one of the first moments that I remember just being blown away at how creatively an author can apply the power system they've made within their world. It's a genius understanding of, real world concepts and how they could apply in a unique way like nobody's ever seen before in an anime or manga. I mean, seriously, if this guy being cute as a button isn't a good enough reason for you to start watching Hunter x Hunter, and then me saying that it's one of the most interesting powers in all of anime isn't going to get you to start watching Hunter x Hunter, you need some milk.
He needs some milk.
You gotta figure your shit out, boy. You gotta lawyer up. You gotta hit the gym. You gotta watch Hunter x Hunter. You're gonna love Gon. You're gonna love him. All right, we're gonna start wrapping it up. Don't you worry. I know you got things to do. These 3 C's that I've just went over, which are
consistency, clarity, competition.
Got it. These all culminate into believability. Like I said in the beginning, believability is what it all boils down to. But there's a question of why. Why do things need to be believable? Okay, so here's the truth. I watch anime because I personally crave escapism, the feeling of escapism. The feeling of immersion, the feeling of being transported out of my life into a pirate world of incredible mystery, or, a world full of just insane adventure and mysteries I can't even imagine, or modern day Tokyo, but there's demons. Ooh, crazy. But regardless, through all of those, the thing that's so much fun, the thing that allows me to be immersed, is my ability to suspend my disbelief. My lizard brain wants out of its meat prison so badly that it's not hard for me to suspend disbelief when they say a guy ate a magical fruit and now he can swim through the ground. But the moment that the world I'm immersed in starts ignoring its own rules and feeling inconsistent or careless with how it's applied is the moment that my immersion is gone, that my ability to suspend disbelief starts fading away. Power system issues with the 3 C's that I've laid out, break my immersion because I start recognizing that the world itself is breaking the rules it set. There's nothing worse than self-imposed rules being ignored. Consistency, clarity, competition. These elements play a massive role in allowing me to maintain my immersion, which allows me to actually follow the story that's being presented, and really that's what these shows are all about. The power systems aren't why we love anime. I mean, sure, they're cool, and they're often the thing that gets you hooked to start watching a series, or the reason you're staying up till 2 a.m. shitposting memes on Reddit about power scaling. But in reality, power systems are just an amuse-bouche for what these series are really all about. All anime, regardless of genre, are really about telling human stories, human experiences like love or friendship or loss. That's why we're obsessed with these fictional worlds and the characters who live in them. The power of power systems is that they help create a world of immeasurable depth and intrigue beyond our own, and help provide this consistent fantasy backdrop for the story we're watching. A good power system can keep you watching, but it's likely not the thing that's going to make you fall in love with a character. The best fantasy stories work because they take portrayals of real people with real motivations and real personalities and have them interact in a world that's completely beyond the realm of our own. It's those reactions to the power systems, when they're reasonable within the confines of how we understand the character, that allow us to relate to and fall in love with the characters in the worlds that they live in. I mean, when Gon and Killua push Wing to teach them Nen faster than they ever should, it's believable, not just because it's something we as the viewers might do, but because it's completely in line with who those characters are. You understand that in that scenario, that is exactly what those characters would do. We watch anime because the worlds are exciting, beautiful places that many of us wish we could be a part of. A compelling power system adds depth, complexity, and scaled to a world that's probably impossible to understand outside the story we're viewing. And when good power systems and good stories mesh, it's truly a beautiful thing for the viewer. At least it always is for me. When you fall in love with an anime, you don't just fall in love with it for the powers or the flashy fights or the power scaling. You fall in love with it because you found a compelling world with characters you love and a place where they feel like they belong. And you found a place that feels real, deeply real, and feels like home, where you feel like you could belong too. Good job. Ducks. We got it. We did it. Boop. Oh shit, sorry. Ooh.